My name is Savannah Bonds, and I'm an intern here at the Clare Boothe Luce Center for Conservative Women. I'm also a student right now at Clemson University, where I'm majoring in sociology. And today I have the privilege of introducing our next speaker, Kathleen Porter. Kathleen was also a former Clare Boothe Summer Fellow and former intern on Capitol Hill for then Representative Marsha Blackburn. She attended Loyola University, where after graduating, she interned at the White House for Senior Counselor to the President, Kellyanne Conway. After her internship with Ms. Conway, she worked at the White House for 2 years as the Receptionist of the United States, and then as Special Assistant to the National Security Advisor to the President, Ambassador Robert O'Brien. She is currently a student at Vanderbilt University Law School, where she will be entering into her final year. After law school, she will be clerking for a federal judge on a district court in Florida, and then for a federal judge on the Ninth Circuit. Please join me in welcoming Kathleen Porter.
Well, Savannah, thank you so much for that kind introduction. It is such an honor to be here with you today. Thank you so much to Clare Boothe Luce for having me, and thank you to Lindsay Cruz for all of her hard work and coordination. I remember being in your seats just a few years ago. I was immediately inspired by my experiences with Clare Boothe Luce. My first event with CBL was at the Reagan Ranch Center in Santa Barbara, at a summit just like this one, while I was struggling to figure out where I fit in my aggressively leftist university in California. I remember being in awe as I watched inspiring women like those who you've heard from today proclaim the goodness of the conservative movement, which up until that point I had only ever been told was bad and a lie. It felt like I had finally come home. Before I even left the summit, I had decided to apply for a fellowship with Clare Boothe Luce. And that began my lifelong commitment to serving and defending American values, which I have now had the privilege of doing in each branch of the government. I can honestly say that the leadership of Clare Boothe Luce, in particular Michelle Easton, Cindy Rushing, and Jeannie O'Connor, has had an extremely profound impact on my life, as my career would not have taken the path that it has without their influence on my life. It would be absolutely impossible to give a speech about leadership in the conservative movement without commending the women who have made this possible and who have come before us. Thank you sincerely to these leaders for the contributions you have made not only to Clare Boothe Luce, but to the greater conservative movement. You are all very wise women. How do I know this? Because you're here. I want to commend you for deciding to come to this summit today. You have made a great step in the pursuit of your dreams by coming here today, by showing up. The network around you could be the community of women in the conservative movement that you have been yearning for, as you look for the courage you need to be different. All of us in this room have remarkable courage, simply by embracing our principles and showing the world what it means to be brave. While the conservative movement has been embattled for several decades, conservative women today especially face a set of unique challenges. Women's rights have been twisted from empowerment to absolute derangement. The very meaning of womanhood is being erased from society. A sitting Supreme Court justice refused to define what a woman is while under oath. The value of motherhood is being severely undervalued with platitudes about having to choose a career over family. And I'm sure you've all heard the message of you can't have it all. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can. Being a young conservative woman in college, like many of you are, is a particularly uphill battle. Colleges today have been microcosms for the worst behavior exhibited by our younger generations. Women are encouraged to engage in the unfulfilling hookup and party culture that is running rampant on college campuses. We are used to being sneered at in classrooms and the constant worry that one misunderstanding could lead to cancellation. I know what it's like to feel isolated on a campus of thousands of people. Although I was constantly surrounded by people, it was rare to feel truly understood and appreciated for the values that are at the core of my very identity. But take heart. At the same time that conservative women are in the midst of oppressive circumstances, We are also uniquely strong, in large part due to the challenges we face. We have a savvy grit, the kind that can only come from harsh experience. Many of the most effective and admired leaders in history have faced obstacles that forged them into who they are today. For conservative women in particular, thick skin and a beautiful smile are a very powerful combination. The strength that lies in proud and unabashed femininity is absolutely unparalleled. Though some may underestimate you for it, always remember that what is most unassuming about you can be your greatest strength. We are uniquely advantaged as well to show the world through our actions what it means to take the high road, even when it feels impossible to do so. Being presented with opportunities, some of us many opportunities, to choose kindness has challenged me to be a better leader, and it has positively impacted my career. During your internships this summer and throughout your life, a simple yet powerful way to be a distinguished leader is to make kindness your default. There have been countless times, like during my White House internship, where I may not have been the smartest person in the room or the person whose parents had the most political connections or any political connections, but I was chosen for the job or opportunity because I could be depended upon to treat people well. People in DC like to refer to what I'm describing to as being good at networking. I'm sure you've heard this term a lot in your summer here. This city appears to thrive on fleeting interactions and the exchange of business cards and favors. But the truth is, no one here has gotten where they are today without a helping hand. The true value of networking lies in building genuine relationships with people who come to trust you. When I was receptionist of the United States at the White House, I was the first person who would greet the president's visitors, who consisted of prime ministers, ambassadors, and various celebrities. In the West Wing where I sat, guests weren't allowed to have their phones for security reasons. So there they were, world leaders stuck in a room without any technology or windows for that matter, waiting to see the president or vice president. And all they could do was talk to me, a 21-year-old. I was in the exceedingly rare position of spending time with people who are typically only seen by the world via camera. Behind the scenes, I saw the most respected leaders embody graciousness in every interaction, from those with the president to fleeting moments with staff that worked at the White House, including janitorial staff. I may not remember every word they said, but to this day I remember how they treated people, as it always left a significant impression on me. The development of genuine relationships begins with being interested in other people besides yourself. We live in a society that makes you believe that the world revolves around you. Especially in college, you are encouraged to succumb to any and every temptation and to put your own needs above all else, as long as it makes you feel good in the moment. But that is a recipe for emptiness. Yes, you are important. Yes, your life has immeasurable value and unimaginable potential, but serving others is the single worthiest calling we can pursue in this life. While leadership roles can be flashy and prestigious, the meaning of leadership at its core is about service. Leadership and femininity have much more in common than society would make us believe. And as conservative women, I challenge you to proudly lead with your fierce femininity. As I mentioned earlier, what you are most underestimated for can be your greatest strength, and there is great strength in putting others' needs above your own. Be the woman at networking events who lets everyone go ahead of her at the buffet. Be the woman who asks far more questions about other people than she shares about herself. Be the woman who asks people about more than the weather. Yes, we know it's hot and unbearably humid in DC in the summer. There is power in politeness, and it makes people feel appreciated and respected when you demonstrate a sincere interest in who they are, what they care about, and what they need. People come to DC for various reasons, but those who come to work in government often come for one of two reasons. They either want the spotlight and prestige, or they came here out of a deep and abiding respect and passion for their country and their fellow citizens. Though many who work in the building just a few feet away from us would beg to differ, your true motivations become obvious as you make your way in your career. I know each of you here today is here because of your love and admiration for this beautiful country, and I encourage you to keep that fire and that optimism alive. Many in the generations ahead of us are understandably feeling the wear of the constant attacks on our democracy and our values. My parents, who live in Los Angeles, California, call me seemingly every day with unsettling updates they've seen on their local news. I have to constantly remind them that things will get better and there is hope even in the darkness. Each of you is in the remarkably privileged position of having an opportunity to turn this country around, to be the light you wish to see in the world. And you are the perfect person to do it. Each of you. Principled female leaders can bring light to this world in abundance. We were blessed with privilege the moment we were born in this country, or to those of you who came here later. And it's our obligation to confidently embrace that privilege and the opportunities that come with it, instead of dwelling on the things that we may lack. I think esteemed modern-day philosopher Elle Woods said it best when she said, "It is with passion, courage of conviction, and strong sense of self that we take our next steps into the world. You must always have faith in people, and most of all, you must always have faith in yourself." Thank you so much for having me today.